We are now less than 24 hours away from potentially seeing what Binance is actually going to burn for Terra Luna Classic. There is a lot of debate about how much this is going to be, but in this video, I'm going to break it down exactly where I think we are going to finish up, and also what are people doing with their staking rewards right now. You're going to want to watch this one to the end, but first, make sure you subscribe to keep up to date with everything going on with Luna Classic, and let's get into it. Now, interestingly, we actually had a pretty good day yesterday. We did mint a green candle, which was adverse to the rest of the cryptocurrency market. You can see Bitcoin there, 23,127, took a big hit yesterday, and we kind of have just got into a new day here in the UK, and we are starting to just on a mint a red candle. Now, we did call a bit of a move up for Terra Luna Classic ahead of the Binance burn, and remember, it does generally decouple from the rest of the market. Now, we're still in this channel that we drew. However, we are still below that 50-day EMA. We do need to see that start to push up to really make a difference, but the Binance burn coming very soon, as well as some interesting statements and news coming out of the staking pools. Now, what is it all about? Well, version 1.1 passed with flying colors, as you would have expected. This ultimately upgrades us to the first of the 1 series upgrades, 1.1, and this supports the Binance burn. It supports those whitelisted wallets. It allows Binance to burn basically everything from their trading and spot and futures markets into our burn wallet. Now, it doesn't get affected with minting. It has no facets of affecting it. It will purely burn exactly what they have got from their trading fees. Now, remember, there are premium rate customers on Binance that basically trade for free. There are also many other facets that go into it, which doesn't give us the exact amount that we would have hoped. Now, Binance roughly controls about 50% of the volume of those burns, of those trading pairs. But again, it gets dwindled down. We roughly run about 20.8 to 21.2%. That's kind of where we've been as we tracked the burns over the kind of previous 4 or 5 months prior to this one. We're on burn number 7. It's going to be interesting to see what that looks like. Do we get the announcement then of a monthly burn for Binance? And remember, they are burning 50% this time instead of 100. Now, CZ hasn't come out and said that's going to be forever. We'll have to wait and see. What we need to do is form unity. We're starting to trend LUNC burn on Twitter. We're starting to see the Luna Classic trend on Twitter. These are the things we need to see more of. These are the things as a community we need to push. These are the things that absolutely make sure that we are following in the footsteps of where we were. And I think that's the important part of these burns and this sentiment around Luna Classic. Now, taking a look at that burn amount, we've got Binance there at 20,103,103, followed by burn tax, Lunatics token. And as we come down there, you can see things like Terra Casino, which have now been burning significantly, up to 54 million Luna Classic burnt. Cremation Coin up at nearly 30 million as well. We're starting to see a few more burns come through, which is always a positive as we go into this Binance news. Now, before we get into the full Binance news, just wanted to give you an update in terms of what's going on. We can see that staking rewards are coming down ever so slightly, as we are at 951 billion. Now, we were hoping to be around $1 trillion. We have lost $1 billion in the last 24 hours. We're seeing people undelegate. Now, remember, there's a 21-day vesting period that's going to affect you, but people are starting to move their supplies. People are really starting to vote with their view. And what I think is very interesting is we are seeing people move away from 0% validators and move more into ones that have commission, that hopefully then we will start to see some burns. Remember what I talked about the other day. If you are staking your coins with a validator that is not fulfilling what you up, you can redelegate it at no impact to you. You continue to take your staking rewards. But if we genuinely want to remove supply, we generally want Luna Classic to do well, we have to be sensible in what we stake. Now, remember, what we don't want right now is a massive pump in the price of Luna Classic. Now, some of you might be thinking, hold on a minute, 2bit, you're crazy. Well, the honest answer is the higher the price, the less we burn. And ultimately, what is a price going to do if it spikes right now? It's going to come down. We've seen it on multiple occasions. When the price moves up, we then see it come all the way back down. And it trends around this 16 range, maybe up to sort of 17, down to 15.8. But if we get a big spike in the price, I absolutely am sure that it will sell off pretty much the day afterwards. You can see it here, look, came all the way up and then came all the way back down. Yes, you could argue market sentiment is going to be affecting that, but this is where we need to be sensible. We want to see a stable price, which will affect the amount in which we burn. Now, after me rambling on for 4.5 minutes, let's get a look into exactly where I think it's going to be. So we've been tracking the volume through those 2 top Binance pairs, USDT and BUSD, and we can get roughly $1.6 billion worth of Terra Luna Classic based upon a reduced pairing ratio. And it's important to reference that. It's significantly more than that if you take just the entire pairings and volume that goes through Terra Luna Classic. But we take the current price of 16,260 That's going to give us what we think. Now, 10.5 billion coins would be where I think we would have been burning in the previous room. But I think we do see about 5.2, maybe to 5.4. It could even be as low as 4.8. So if I was to give you a number, I'd say 4.8 to 5.4 would be roughly where I think we'll see Terra Luna Classic. Now, it's nothing to be sniffed at. Still $1.7 million that's going to go through. So it's still a significant burn based on the current price, but time will tell. Now, what does it mean going forward? Well, we'll have to see how Binance reacts. Do we continue to see these? I think our challenge right now is how do we get more exchanges to support? How do we increase the removal of supply, both through staking and equally burning? I think they're important. We have to continue at the same time as building applications out. There is also some talk around the community pool and how that continues to fund the layer 1 development team. We have to find a mechanism to continually support longevity. Otherwise, what happens is we will just fizzle out and end up with nothing. So it's important we get videos like this shared with the community. We let people know exactly the potential of Terra Luna Classic, and the biggest thing is we align to one vision and one goal. And I think that is probably the big thing we can do over the course of the next coming weeks. Binance will be a big catalyst back into a feel-good factor for Terra Luna Classic. Can we capitalize on it and start to move the price up? Or equally, more importantly, the volume on the network? Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think? What do you think the price is going to be? What do you think the burn's going to be come Thursday this week? Dead interested. We'll cover that on my live stream, 4 p.m. Eastern every single night. So be sure to subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when we upload or go live, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.